welcome to the TheLanCave, where we're living as nerds. I'm Patrick, joined by Owen.
Hello!
And we're here talking gaming news, video games, all kinds of cool stuff and geeky stuff, because that's what we do, and that's what you guys probably like to do. And if you don't, we'll make it entertaining for you, we promise. It's first full week, at least some of us first full week with a next-gen console. Pretty excited about it.
I need to stretch a little, dude. I want to know, because you're an old man like me.
Yeah.
How's your back doing?
My back sucks. I've had back issues. I slipped a disc.
That's right. That's not a fair. That's not a fair.
I'm way too young. Yeah, I'm way too young to have had that happen. But I did slip a disc. I did get this chair because I was having because my back is a constant problem. I can't sit for like more than maybe an hour and a half or so, like playing a game. Like if I'm sitting for an hour and a half solid, I need to get up and do something. Like I feel like my body just needs to move. And I've had quite a few times this week where my body was like, "All right, let's get up, let's do something." But it's been fun.
Because I don't have those issues, but what I experienced though is that because I played a video game pretty much every day this week. I think I skipped one day. Maybe on the weekend. I'm trying to remember which day I didn't play, but I played pretty much for a week straight, every night. And what I'm discovering is that I can't lean forward while I'm fighting the bosses as much anymore because I regret it later. My back is very sore right now. I beat Miles Morales last night, so I'm going through the boss fight. I actually died a couple times. I was playing on normal difficulty, which I'm not as good at video games as I used to be. So I'm playing on normal difficulty. I die a couple times. I end up standing up, pacing around the TV. And like today, my back is just, I was tense and stiff. I can't, it's sad, but at the same time, I don't know. Like it really reminded me that this console launch is different because I'm not a young lad anymore.
Yeah. Robert in the comments saying y'all don't play standing up sometimes. Owen does when he gets frustrated. I don't, but I will say if it's an easier game, I've been loving Astro's Playroom, by the way, absolutely loving it. And if it's an easier game like Astro's, then I found myself when I was kind of exploring or when I was trophy hunting because I platinumed this. This is my second time platinuming a game
ever. I think what he's going with is ever. So 2 platinums total. I only have 12, but
two ever. I've never tried to platinum. I platinumed a game accidentally, and I apologize. I'm sneezing like crazy. I don't know why. I platinumed one game before this, and I didn't even know that I platinumed it. I didn't realize that I platinumed it, or did not remember, which was Batman: The Telltale series, the first one. So now I'm like, okay. I looked at Astro's Playroom and went, I got all the artifacts because I just wanted to. Because collecting nostalgia from PlayStation, and I'm old enough. I've had all of these consoles, and I had the original PlayStation all the way up. You didn't have the original. You had the PlayStation 2 onward, or did you have the original?
I had the original. I never had a PSP.
Okay, that's what.
And I didn't have a I didn't have a PS3.
Oh, okay.
I completely skipped the PS3 era.
Yeah, I remembered you'd skipped some. For some reason, I thought it was the PlayStation 1. But like, I've had all of these. I didn't have all of the peripherals and everything that you unlock, but I was like, this is cool. It's a trip down memory lane for me. So I collected all of them, and then I looked to see. I was like, wow, how many trophies did I get? And I realized there were, 12 or something that I didn't hit. And I looked at the list, and I thought, I can do this. So I think it took me another hour because of the SSD. I was like popping through like all like transporting and teleporting like through all these levels, and they took me another hour to platinum it. And while doing that, I did find myself not only standing up but kind of like stretching my hips out a little bit, and just because I was kind of like flowing with it and relaxing with it, but. I'm not doing that when I play Demon's Souls. Like, not at all. There's no relaxation on that. But yeah, those are the 2 games I've been playing more than anything else. I have not played Miles yet. I will be playing it this weekend. But yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving next gen.
I think the other added stress was because Miles is actually pretty chill. The only time I got really tense was at the end of the game, but otherwise the music, the swinging around Christmas New York is great.
That's cool.
I So I had no problem there. But the other thing was I've been playing a little Call of Duty
Yeah.
for the first time in years. At the last, I did, well, I say years. I did play the Black Ops Battle Royale
Okay.
when that came out a couple years ago. Not the current one, not Warzone. But I just jumped into a little Cold War multiplayer. I have to say, man, the game loop on Call of Duty, I get it. I get the addiction thing because I was able to jump into the quick match with the SSD. I think at most I waited about 60 seconds per round, and
Amazing.
and you can select which ones from the list. So you can do just team deathmatch if you want, but I haven't played any of these modes ever. So
mix it up.
So right? I did the whole shuffle thing, and I was in and out of every game. And before I know it, the first night I played 2.5 hours, and then the next night I played another 2.5 hours. That's it adds up. But man, it's fun, and I was playing that on my Series X. Looks great, runs fantastic.
It's SSD. I mean, okay, the graphics look great and everything, but these load times I cannot stress enough how much this is a change for gaming. It is. I hate saying game changer. It is literally a game changer. Your load times, you don't have the downtime. Of course, you have people with internet connections, what have you, but to load back into a game or even queues and stuff, I've heard have just been so instant. Where I've been playing games like Battlefront 2, like Star Wars Battlefront 2 on PS4.
Yeah.
And I waited and waited and waited for I don't know, how long you die and you wait. I mean, they try to make it like, oh, well, it's timing. They're just going to put you back in X amount of seconds. And I'm like, no, that's loading. That's reloading. They're hiding it from you. And this generation, it's not being hidden from us because it's that instant. And I say instant, maybe a couple seconds on some of these games. How much, so you died there, and so there's your reload right there, right? And then boom.
Yeah.
Was that so? I mean,
these are different clips.
Sorry, that was a different clip.
Yeah.
This is the next clip.
Yeah. So no, the in terms of dying and stuff, that's instant. There's a delay built into the game to not have you instantly respawn, but loading the matches quick, the lobbies are quick. Like, I know that a lot of that requires a good network too, which I happen to have, but I don't know if you notice this, but the same thing with downloading games, especially on my PS5. Dude, did they fix PSN? I don't get it.
Part of it, I've heard it is they have done some updates in regards to PSN, and I got to dig further into this because we had heard, I want to say it was a year ago or so, that PlayStation was partnering with Microsoft Azure in regards to. I'll have to double check and pull up that.
I remember that. Yes.
So I'm wondering if that is literally Microsoft's, from a business perspective, and saying, yeah, Sony, how's your stuff here? Give us some money. We're going to make your online environment better because it's going to help them. They're making money off of Sony. Even though Sony's their competitor, they're making money off of their competitor. I'm wondering if that's one of the reasons why. I know the other reason is PS5 has Wi-Fi 6, which my router doesn't have. But I think that the difference in their Wi-Fi adapter of the PS4 versus PS5 alone is a big difference.
Because the PS4 was true. That Wi-Fi card sucked.
Yep. I need to do some tests. Because I've been doing a lot of tests. I'm gonna do some more videos. But I'm gonna test the PS4 download speed to see how fast a similar sized file, or I can do the math on it, even if it's not similar sized file, because PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 don't tell you the speed. It just says X amount out of X amount of data. So I may test that out and see if it's purely that Wi-Fi adapter, or maybe they change something on the back end, and I hope the PS4 gets a little bit of advantage. I haven't heard that anywhere yet, and I'm assuming that they are downloading off the same servers, because if you install a PlayStation 4/PlayStation 5 game on your PlayStation, it downloads both, and then you got to choose which one to
It's so
play.
dumb.
Yeah, so I realized I've not played Miles yet, but I noticed it. Robert posted, and you posted, a couple other people posted about it, and I thought, man, like, how the average person should not have to do that. The average person should not go, oh, I'm going to launch my game. Better launch the proper version. Like, console gaming should be about convenience, and these consoles are so convenient. Just immediately just default to the next gen version. Xbox, by the way, put in Valhalla. We were playing Valhalla on Xbox One X, and it looked good. Put in the disc on Xbox Valhalla, Xbox Series X. Put in the Valhalla disc, and Xbox went, "Hey, there's an update. Do you want to download the update?" Yeah, I want to download the update, and that was the. I have to look and see what the size of that update was. I want to say it was like 45 gig or so.
Yeah.
Update. So it was not. That's just the update to go from last gen to next gen to current gen as it is now. And after playing Assassin's Creed a little bit more, it does look better on Series X, obviously, but it's not the wow factor that Miles is, in my opinion. I think why Miles has got it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where you can tell the difference between a first party game and a third party game. So Miles is, other than Demon Souls, which you've also been playing, and I've heard from multiple people that this might be one of the most pretty games they've ever seen, and I don't know if you agree with that assessment.
I do, and so the first game is ugly. It is terribly ugly. I know that you are not into Souls games, but
I've heard that that's a controversial thing that happened, where they took the ugly world and made it pretty.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't mind, because I don't think they made it that pretty. Let me fast forward just a little bit here. I don't think they made it that pretty. Like, to me, that's still gloomy. It's still dark. And then when you pop in, I think this should show my the initial like animations and stuff, or the initial like cutscene as you jump in. I think loading on this was around 30 or 40 seconds every time you die. So now we're going from 30 or 40 seconds to 2 or something to that effect. So this is loading into a cutscene, so it's not a great version of that, but I still think that's dark and gloomy. I don't think it's pretty, but the character models in the original are terrible. They're just weird, ugly looking people, and it's really good character creation, very diverse as well, which I thought was great. And again, I don't think that's too pretty. I still think that's scary. It's dark and scary and menacing.
Yeah.
I've loved it. I would say this for it's one of my favorite games. Anyways, the original was.
Sure.
But the gameplay, they kept so true to the original, but enhanced it in ways that made it feel like it is a next gen game, even though it's a remake of a previous generation game. If this was a game I'd never played before, I would have been like, wow, this is amazing. This is the next Souls game. I wouldn't have thought, oh wow, that's an old design or what have you.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. I know it's not your cup of tea.
Look at that ray tracing though, dude. Like with the fire hitting the concrete like that.
Yeah.
That's the things where you can truly point to and be like, yes, now I'm on a next gen console. And the same thing with when I was playing Miles, and I put on the animated suit that. The cell shaded one, and put that in fidelity mode. The ray tracing, all the light bouncing off his.
Because you can toggle between, right?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. I need to see if in Dark Souls if I can, or Demon Souls. Sorry. Okay, I thought that I could. I put it in performance mode.
For sure, you have to.
Which I thought you'd find this funny, because I don't remember if I sent you a message on this. Performance, so fidelity mode or whatever you want to call it, cinematic, whatever, on Demon Souls is 4K 30 or something, and performance mode is 1440 60.
Yeah, you have to do. You can't.
Yeah. So the funny thing to me was I was reading that, and I know what that means, but I was reading it, and part of my brain went, but the PS5 doesn't do 1440. Well, it doesn't, because it's taking 1440 and then upscaling it
Yeah.
for you, which it still looks great. I mean, I didn't look at I did not play it and go, it doesn't look that great. The ray tracing, the HDR, this is in 1080 60, by the way, because that's how the PS5 streams it.
Yeah.
So 1080 60 still looked pretty good. It's not as good as 4K, sure, but the 60 frames really solidifies this. It makes it smooth. I'm curious about that 120. Neither one of us have a TV or a monitor that does 120, so I'm curious what games are hitting that right now. Did you say Call of Duty is hitting 120?
Yeah. Call of Duty's supposed to be. The only other game that comes to mind is a game that didn't need it. Oh, Ori. It is supposed to be at 120.
Doesn't Ori's beautiful, by the way, and
Yeah.
you know that. But for those who haven't played Ori and the Blind Forest, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, or you're thinking Blind Forest is the one that's hitting 120, right?
I'm not sure. We can look it
Pretty
up.
sure it's that one. Yeah, so I mean, they're beautiful games, and I have heard actually from multiple people they were like, "This is a game you need to play on your Series X," which I thought that's kind of surprising, because, like you said, I didn't think it was one that needed it. Gears of War has an update. I haven't looked at the graphics on it
Ooh.
either, but it's optimized. So, sorry, what was that?
Let's see. We have a decent list here.
Was
Call
this
it.
an optimized list?
This is just the list of PS5 games, and then I have a list of Xbox games so Call of Duty on both.
Okay.
For
For 120, is that what we're?
Yeah.
What the metric? Okay.
For 120. Borderlands on the PS5 is hitting 120. Gears 5 multiplayer is at 120. They put Halo the Master Chief Collection up to 120, so that could be fun.
Yeah, that's impressive. I wish my TV was at that. So it is one of those marketing gimmick crap that I thought was 120. It's 120 motion something. It is what's referred to as interpolation or smoothing, which I turned off on my TV. Yeah, I turned all that stuff off on my TV. But I thought that at least it could take the signal, the native signal of 60 frames. So that does mean that my TV could fake it. Like I could turn some smoothing on and make it look a little bit more, but it's still not going to look.
It might have a game mode. Did you see if it had that?
It does have a game mode.
Or is that just for input lag?
Input lag is what.
Okay.
Yeah. So it doesn't. If I flip on game mode, it doesn't. I mean, I could do game mode, which reduces input lag. Which honestly, my input lag isn't too bad, or maybe I'm just not noticing it that much. But it doesn't. I can have it then toggle on or off. I could then further adjust if I want to do smoothing or not smoothing.
Yeah.
Gaming doesn't automatically do that, but it does do input lag. With this, I didn't really notice too bad. I'm sure that if I'm playing 120 hertz Call of Duty, I probably would feel just a little bit more lag.
Yeah.
If I was playing like a Street Fighter kind of game, I mean, I'd probably feel like that too. But Demon Souls is usually, it's your frames are important, your responses are important, and maybe I'm just not good enough to feel that difference. But it was good. I liked it.
Yeah.
Dark enough. It's good enough. I've enjoyed Demon Souls. Enjoyed it a lot. I mean, I knew I was going to, but really enjoyed it, and Astros as well. And one of the takeaways that I wanted to mention as we're talking about next gen, there hasn't been a lot of news this week, but I wanted to mention that, in my opinion, if you're thinking about PS5 versus Xbox, they're both good. If you have the latest gen of, if you have the 0.5s, if you will, the Gen 8.5, the PS4 Pro, and the Xbox One X, then moving to an Xbox Series X is like upgrading your graphics card and getting a new like SSD on your PC. Like everything's a little better, but you're not changing that much. It's good, but you're not changing that much. If you've not had an Xbox, or maybe you had an original Xbox One and now you're moving to a Series X, you're going to feel a big difference. But still, it doesn't feel like next gen yet to me. It feels like it's upgrades. It feels like it's a little bit more polished, but PlayStation 5 feels to me like it is next gen ready because of those first party titles. Like you mentioned, so Miles being on there and Demon Souls, if they're not first party, they are so closely connected that they're so closely connected that it is how do I say this? Since they're making it specifically for one console, it's better than it could have been. And I realized our stream dropped out too. So
It did.
yeah, so it happened. So I'm just gonna keep going. We're gonna edit that out.
Cool. Uh, I I think that you can still make a case for even upgrading to the Series X from the Xbox One X, but the thing is just, do I need to be stressing out about finding one right now if I have a One X? Like, probably not. I think that, keep trying, of course, if that's what you want. Again, like he said, there's a great hard drive upgrade. There's a great graphics upgrade, even though, again, the One X is great.
Yeah.
But just in terms of everything, it's just, you're getting that future machine. But don't stress out about finding one. If like, I think that you'll be okay until you get one next year. I think as the new games start to roll out next year, I keep saying it. Like,
Yes.
Their launch window is, Halo definitely being out definitely hurt them. That's been the hard part for Xbox. As the new games start rolling out and those Series X start to be more in stock, I think you'll be okay. Grab it then. Grab it in June, July, August, when hopefully Obsidian's next game comes out, maybe, or maybe we get something fresh off the mint from the Bethesda deal, which should be going through next year. That'll be a great time to jump in to the next gen if you have that One X already. If you don't have it though, it's a great value machine.
Yep.
The Game Pass getting you as many games as it does. I downloaded 4 or 5. Yakuza. I downloaded Gears 5. I got Final Fantasy 13 of all things, just to kind of to give myself a smattering on the Xbox. It's a great value machine, and I totally recommend it.
Yeah.
The PS5 is just, again, that's home. Miles being so awesome for me, Demon Souls being so awesome for you, like, those aren't available on Xbox, and they're both fantastic games that we're both pretty passionate about.
And you can play Miles on the PlayStation 4.
You absolutely can.
It doesn't look as good, but you can still play it.
It still runs great too.
It still runs great. So that's kind of how the way that I feel about Miles, and I can't wait to play Miles, by the way. But the way that I feel about Miles is how Xbox should feel about everything. Like, if you have one, you don't need to rush out to get the new one. If you get it, that's great, and enjoy it if you get it. But I'm just saying, don't feel like you're missing out right now, because you're still getting those experiences. And Xbox is going to upgrade you to that next gen version with smart delivery. So I wouldn't worry about it as much as if you're missing out on the next Halo, because you're not, because that's delayed until, I don't know, whenever that's ever going to happen. Does it say March?
I don't know if we have anything. I think just next year is when we should expect it. I think no matter what, I can't see how they can push it past next year. Except, again, they're going to have a huge acquisition going on, and not for nothing, I bet that there's something that they have planned. Like, the moment that deal goes into play, like, hey, yeah, I don't know, pick a game that works. When Starfield? So, hey, Starfield comes out next week, or something, like, just something ridiculous, right? I expect that kind of thing to happen. So that ends up being able to hide Halo if it lasts that long. I just don't know how they can keep pushing that. Like, it's Halo. Like, it's what the people want.
I agree. I noticed some things in the notes. I don't know if you noticed you'd add those while we were on here, or if you added those right before about the UI and controllers. Yeah. So we talked about, like, downloading games, but I'm assuming you want to talk about, like, the differences in the two.
No, more just, what are you thinking? How are you liking it? Not necessarily the differences, but, like, including the downloading games, just how quick that was. But I'm talking about, what'd you think of setting up both consoles? What'd you think of setting up the Xbox? What'd you think of setting up PS5?
Very different. They're different experiences. Xbox went with, hey, download our app, and this is going to make it easier for you. I don't know if you did that. But
I did not.
It was really, it was like, just type in the stuff, and it was having, as you type it in. And I know this sounds extremely like I'm describing the most simple thing, but it was like, hey, what's your Wi-Fi password? You type it in your phone. It's like, cool, I'm setting up your Wi-Fi so you can see that your
Yeah.
Xbox is doing that. Hey, it's like, hey, while you're setting up Wi-Fi, do you want to do X, Y, Z? Do you want to download? So you're answering questions on your phone while it's the Xbox is. So it's you have two screens, and
Cool.
I know that sounds like very like, well, of course you have two screens. You're holding. No, it's like it was actually asking me for things that the Xbox would have, and I don't know. This is we're with our phones all the time, so it made sense. It actually made sense to use it, and I just thought I'll just do it. Phil Spencer talked about it, so I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a whirl, see what he's talking about. It worked well.
Yeah.
I'm normally the guy who goes through traditional, like, okay, I'll just use my controller and everything.
Sure.
Um,
This is the new age.
yeah, I will say that the PlayStation startup I love way more than Xbox. Xbox is just like, hey, you're playing. If you were in sleep, you're just like, hey, menus in your face, like immediately.
Are you talking about the cool like star looking thing?
The little particles with the
Yeah.
I really like that. Xbox is just like, it doesn't even do so that, like, the Xbox One X has a cool like loading screen, and then you come in, and the Xbox Series X, you hit the button, and I feel like by the time, maybe it's because I usually hit the button to power on the console, and then I flip over my HDMI.
Mm.
So by the time I flipped over my HDMI, the Xbox is like, here's your menu, like right in your like aggressively loading that fast. Where the PlayStation, it's not that it's loading slower, but it feels like it's more of an experience when I started up.
Mm.
The Xbox, I did move. I mean, I moved from an Xbox One X to an Xbox Series X. It's the same UI right now. So it's good. It's customizable in regards to, you want to pin a game to here, or do you want to move these things? Like, you can move Game Pass further down or the store further. I like that.
Yeah.
But something has to be said for the control hub on PlayStation 5. The popping up with the menu and seeing, hey, here's your new, like, your trophies that you're close to. Here's your next thing that you're supposed to be doing, or what you should resume doing right now. I thought was really, really cool. I feel like if I was going back to a game and hadn't played it for 3 or 4 or 5 months, that it would give me a good jump start to go, hey, remember you were on this quest. Like if I was playing a Witcher game, it kind of give you a little nudge and hint, kind of cool stuff. I like it.
I actually saw a joke about that where they said every game needs the adult option, where you can turn that option on, and every time you reboot a game, it'll tell you the last thing that you did. They were just like, that just needs to be standard practice these days.
Well, as adults, it's like, okay, sometimes we have a busy week. Maybe we didn't get to play games for. I mean, it sucks sometimes. It's like, man, I feel like I haven't actually played a game in like a week and a half or 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and that doesn't count like picking up my Switch and playing something casual, but actually sitting down and enjoying it. So yeah, a nice little reminder would be nice to just say, hey, you were fighting boars or whatever. Yeah, go do that.
Go kill some boars.
Go kill some boars. Oh yeah, killing boars. That sounds good. Speaking of that, someone
just makes me think that you just logged into World of Warcraft and played your like level 5 character for the first time in 10 years.
I did say that when you mentioned that, it reminded me of an article that someone wrote, because most gaming articles, no offense to gaming journalists, a lot of gaming articles are very, very, very apparent things that people are writing an article for no reason, or sometimes they're just speculation. But someone actually wrote an article that was something to the effect of how to play Valhalla if you're in dad mode, I think is what they referred to it as. So if you've got a kid and you want to play Valhalla, when the kid is there, they were like, you should do these things because it's kid friendly. Don't do any missions. You go find these events. There's a thing called flighting, which is verbal sparring, if you will, making fun of each other. Finding these, like, climbing these different things. So it's like, here's the things you can do that's really fun that you can enjoy while your kid is around you. And I know with your kid, I mean, obviously you don't want to expose him to violence. I don't know like how much he would grasp of it. I'm sure he'd grasp enough of that.
Yeah.
You can imagine when you've got like 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds. You don't want them to see the violence of hacking people with an axe that Valhalla has. So
Correct.
I thought that was cool. It's like, hey, play this game with the dice and stuff. So I thought that was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, because so far the only game my kid has seen or played any of is Mario 64 and Untitled Goose Game.
Yeah. Yep.
I've been pretty.
Astros? I mean,
Not yet.
No. Okay.
It's one thing where I played through it. It was more. It's been more of a thing for attention for me. He's 1, and so he doesn't have that whole I'm going to sit there for longer than 5 minutes. And so there's just not a lot of point for me to try and engage too much in a game, unless it's something like every once in a while, it's just, okay, hey, here, let me play some Mario 64, a game that I know very well, at least in terms of where I can stop and like there's no timer on it or anything. You can literally just stand there.
Unless he's like taking a nap, then you're not. Yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah. And so with my experiences, I actually did the flip-flop of you. So PlayStation also has their app, and during their setup process, you can literally just scan a QR code.
Okay.
And so I scanned the QR code on PS5.
QR code. Yes, I did.
And QR code, it automatically logs you in, and it does a whole setup thing as it downloads like an update and everything. But then you're in. It's all your stuff there. You scroll all the way to the right. Your library. The library it's a simple thing, but the library looks super pretty in terms of letting me know what games I can download right there. It's that way in the PS4 as well, but I'm glad they kept that feature. And it's just, again, it's super, super simple. And the card system that goes along with that, it's like, hey, you were 54% of the way through this Astro, like collecting these puzzle pieces. Like that's offering that little reminder of what's the last thing you were doing. It has been making these assumptions like, hey, it seems like you're pursuing this trophy. Here's the card for at least like the last, I don't know if it's based on like the last progression thing that you did, but it's really cool.
Yeah, I don't know. By the way, I platinumed it. I'm missing one trophy. There's an optional trophy. I don't know if I can get it because I don't need to. It's the network speed runs. You have to do all of those in a cumulative of less than 7 minutes.
Cool.
And I'm like, okay, that's cool. I don't need to do it. And I feel like that's a little pressure, so I may do it at some point, but it's an optional. I'm like, I would say that there were some interesting things, and you mentioned audio video stuff.
Yeah.
Make sure you check your TV manufacturer, and I hate saying that, like literally read the manual. Xbox is great at this, and you brought this up before I can even mention it. That Xbox, you say you're like there's not a setting. There's
menu option,
video option that literally has an output that says here's what your TV supports, because HDMI can literally detect. You can do
awesome.
This, you can do this. You can't do these things. So my TV, which had one red check mark on it on the Xbox Series X, so I bring it up on this one. It's like red, because like all 120. I could, and 3D and 120. So I was like, whatever. But Xbox shows you that data, and I was like, that's really cool. On the PlayStation side, you bring up video, and it's like settings, automatic. So it's enough to detect, which I think is cool. And I haven't had many issues so far. Mm-hmm.
Actually, I did run into, there's a section in PlayStation that tells you, it doesn't tell you what it's capable of, it tells you what it's outputting.
Okay.
So it does it has the frame, or not the frame rate, the pixel count that you have, and then it tells you if you're outputting an HDR or not. But the difference there is that the Series X gives you that information. Here's what your TV is capable of, and that's actually how I discovered that I only have one HDR port on my TV, is because I'm looking at it and the whole thing is red except for 60 hertz and 4K.
Yeah.
And so that's what it tells me it's capable of, and I'm like, whoa, where's my HDR?
Yeah,
But what's weird about that, just as it doesn't matter too much, but I don't know if you noticed this, the PS5 lobby, what do you want to call it, home screen, the PS5 home screen is in HDR in 4K. The Series X is not. Did you notice that?
I noticed that. So
it's in 1080, and it
pops up. Yours pops up and tells you, right?
Yeah.
Mine doesn't pop up and tell me, but I could tell the 1080 versus 4K. I was like, why does this? It almost felt I don't know, like it didn't feel next gen. And one thing was going from the same dashboard to the same dashboard. It didn't have that wow factor. But yeah, it felt weird and not quite antiquated, but it felt like I was on an older PC monitor. Is how I felt. Like I was like, and when I went into the game, I felt like, oh, the resolution setting is set right now. Like, and I'm on 1080 right here on my PC monitor,
Yeah.
but my PC monitor is 24 inches. My TV is 65 inches. That's a big difference.
Yeah. And again, I don't want to make a huge deal out of it because it is just the home screen. It was just this thing of how pretty it is. And I did just watch, I pulled it up real quick on YouTube, the Xbox boot screen. All it is it goes, the light turns on kind of slowly and it says Xbox, and then you're in the menu.
Yeah.
And you do also have the thing of logging into your controller. I don't know if you have that set, the pin on your controller.
I
So
don't have a pen. Actually, I just set it up recently, so it automatically logs my profile in.
yeah.
Yeah, so I don't have the pin, but that would work too.
So that's the other thing that pops up, and it's linked to the controller. So it knows like, hey, Owen uses this controller. There's only one controller that I have hooked up to it anyway. But that's how that one works. And there is just a difference. It's weird. It's dumb. It's dumb that it affects me that way. But the PS5 comes up, and again, just it's that 4K with the galaxy look with all the stars, and like you have it's just your name and the power button. It's just this cool in between screen that kind of like doesn't throw it at you right away, and then just the smoothness that it loads in. The Series X, again, it's still extremely functional. I don't want to take anything away from that. I've enjoyed my experience of downloading games. I still could go for it being a little cleaner.
Actually, I didn't.
But it's way better than it used to be.
It is. I would say I don't like the PlayStation 5 library shows, if I'm not mistaken, the default in that one, as soon as you go to games, it shows everything that you have played, not what you own. Where PlayStation, sorry, where Xbox kind of has it separated a little bit. So I think it's the second tab where it's like, here's your owned games or installed games or something. I thought that was a little funky. I would say next on our little topics here as we run down, because I want to make sure we talk about all these. We could talk for hours about this, but the Xbox, just every piece of it is an iteration. It's a little bit better than it was, right? I feel, and it's not bad, but like the Xbox Series controller is great, but it's subtle to the point where Whitney picked up the Xbox Series controller. Whitney's, my wife's a little bit more casual. She games. She's in there playing Valhalla right now. She plays Valhalla and plays games like every time when we're doing the podcast, she's gaming. So she picked up the controller, ready to play Valhalla. Hit the button, started playing, and I was like, "How'd you like the new controller?" And she looked down and was like, and she didn't realize that it's a new controller. It's
Oh, really?
It's subtle. And then I handed her the old controller, and she literally just took her fingers like on the back of it and did this.
Yeah.
She's like, nope. Like as soon as like she touched the new texture, she was like, no, this is better. And
it's better.
She didn't realize was better. It's a little iteration, a little change, a little difference. Where the DualSense is like, just throw everything out what we did with the DualShock. DualShock's great. But
aside from the sticks, it's the same exact sticks.
It's the same sticks. Everything else is different. The sticks aren't bad though, honestly.
Oh no, the sticks are fine.
And this controller is great too. But man, everything about the DualSense is different and good and new. Even the pad, which I don't think anybody uses in any games right now.
Miles uses it for one. You literally open up his smartphone.
Okay. Part of it's because I played a lot of Astros.
Yeah.
Astros was showing all these different things you can do.
That crossbow thing was fun.
Yeah, it so many cool things. But the haptic feedback and the adaptive triggers in the DualSense controller are so amazing, and it didn't throw me off. It's subtle. It's not like Rumble was, because I don't know if you remember the first time you picked up a Rumble controller, but Like,
The 64 was my first rumble
yeah, it was
controller
my first
with
one.
the rumble
That was,
pack.
yep, it was my first one, and it was like it was either the controller was doing nothing, or it was vibrating aggressively in your hand. Like it had like a little bit of, it didn't have as much nuance. Obviously, I'm being hyperbolic here,
Yeah,
but the haptic feedback in this controller, everything from like feeling like my like in Astros again, where you're walking on mud or you're walking in water, and between the sound as well as the subtle little vibrations on there really add to it. Demon Souls has it too. Like when you hit the wall, like you accidentally hit the wall with a sword.
yeah,
Like it's not just like just a vibration. Like feels like something sharp, like rebounded your hand. Um,
yeah.
it's really really amazing. And I didn't think Nintendo's been doing things like this, and they always felt kind of gimmicky. But I think Nintendo was kind of on the right track, and then Sony was like, "Cool, we're going to implement this." Like the
Yeah.
motion, it knows how your controller's positioned, and when you're doing the monkey thing in Astros,
Well, it's been able to do that. The six axis.
yeah, I guess I guess I didn't play
It's
games.
just that yeah,
Developers
people don't use it as much.
Yeah, developers weren't using as much, but like everything about it, it was accurate. It was good. It was subtle. It was accurate. And you sent a list to me earlier this week, and I should pull this up. But there are so many games that are coming out that are going to be using different aspects of it, which made me uh, made me pretty happy that we're seeing them using the adaptive triggers in, was it Horizon Zero Dawn?
Oh, for sure,
Other
100%.
uh,
Call of Duty's using it. The I want to I want to say that I never realized about both controllers because they both have the texture on it. I don't know if you saw that super zoomed in version of the DualSense. I keep wanting to call it the DS5
yeah,
of the DualSense.
happens. Yeah.
Did you see that where it has the sacred symbols in it?
No.
So
I didn't notice
it
that.
has if you zoom in really close on the DualSense, just a cool little subtle nod. But the texture on both, I don't know if you noticed this, but I'm a pretty sweaty hand player
I'm not.
myself.
Yeah.
And, okay, well I am, and so what I noticed is that on these textured controllers, I have not been getting as sweaty as I do on like the smooth DualShock 4, which I'm used to playing with.
Yeah.
It's a really random thing, but it for some reason it just keeps the controller cooler somehow. That's been really nice. The little texture, even again, I know that the Series X isn't a huge change from the Xbox One controller, but the texture on the triggers is also nice. I've been playing Call of Duty on Series because I wanted to have a AAA game on there that was new.
Yeah.
So I played it on that game. I've been enjoying it a lot, but what I heard is on the PS5 version of Cold War, they have a different haptic setting for every single gun. And I can see that being gimmicky, but I could also see that if you are really into it, that could be really cool. So if you have both consoles and you like the triggers, you might try Call of Duty on it at some point. Maybe try Warzone to do that as well, because Warzone's free. Just to check it out, just to see what the third parties are doing with it, because that's the difference. Is that from what I've heard, Valhalla does not have like anything to do with the adaptive triggers. Call of Duty does though, but Spider-Man and Astros both do a lot. Spider-Man is a subtle one. The majority of the game, you're not really going to do anything, but the webbing, it just has this slight resistance to it. It's like right before you get to the end of the trigger, that's where it cushions. So kind of like he sprays the web, and as you release it, the trigger kind of like softens up a little bit there. It's just a subtle thing that they can do, but it really excites me for at least what I expect the first party to do, because Sony is going to be like, you guys have to, we made this awesome controller, you have to use it. I can see a lot of other people though getting annoyed by it. So just to let you know, you can turn it completely off from an accessibility point. If that much tension and stuff in the triggers is going to be a problem for you, you can definitn turn it off for every game. So it's not anything that you can't have.
Yeah, I did notice that you can turn it off, and there's some settings I believe you can turn up or turn down, and which I think is cool. There were some people were suggesting to turn it down to save battery life in regards to some of the haptic feedback and other things, which I'm like, okay, that's fine, but if you're not playing for extended periods of time, enjoy it a little bit. I did turn down the speaker on the controller, because that was
Oh,
pretty
I
loud
have
and
to.
annoying. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty loud and annoying. So I turned that down. You got some good ones. You mentioned that you downloaded like off the bat. Um, so
I needed some variety.
yeah, so I did. Some of mine are what you have. Except I have also my external drives, which are working on
Yeah.
both. They did work plugging them in from last gen to next gen. At first, it was like error, 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 but then it worked. Um, so I literally got with the Xbox though. I pulled up Game Pass and I downloaded everything. And by the way, I have it set to download the game to my solid state drive.
Oh, cool.
Sorry, to my external drive as default for last. I think it does defaults for it's the default, but it can't download next gen games there.
You're saying on the Xbox?
Yeah, on the Xbox.
I don't think you can do that on the PlayStation.
No, it can't do it on the PlayStation. Sorry, on the Xbox, I've got it set to be my default to download. I pulled up Game Pass, and I just hit download on anything that says series on it. Like literally every so
Gears 5, Gears Tactics.
Gears 5, Gears Tactics, No Man's Sky, all these. So I'm like, cool, I have them ready, so I can play the updated version, ready to go. And it does. I'll have to double check because you mentioned that. I need to double check that it is that those are being downloaded onto. If they're the upgraded versions, do they need to be on my internal drive to play the upgraded versions, or are we cool with the being on the external drive? So I'll have to double check that. I would think that it's smart enough to know what it can play on, and it's playing what it should on the Series X, is what I'm assuming.
I mean, if you have it specified, you could probably. Because I doubt Gears Tactics is on your external drive, is it?
I'll have to double check because
because you won't be able to play Gears Tactics.
Yeah, I literally
from what I know
download repeatedly, like on everything, and then I just let it cook. The PlayStation, I downloaded Bugsnax.
Same.
And I mean, it's basically Bugsnax, Astros, and Demon Souls, and I installed Miles.
Yeah,
and then I'll have to go in and make sure. Do you have to select those 3 buttons every time you play it to say I want to play the PS5 version, or can you go in and delete the PS4 version?
So I ran into that with Miles, where for some reason it asked PS4, and I don't know what. Like that has been one complaint.
Yeah.
As far as the PS5 menuing goes, where the Xbox has got, it just knows. It's like, okay, we're going to download the best version of this game, or whatever version works on your Xbox.
Yeah.
Whereas the PlayStation 5, for some reason, wants to show both the PS4 and the PS5 version. It was there, and it had a lock next to it, so it didn't. It had, like, I don't know, it had the download or the install, but it had a lock on the PS4 version. So I got confused for a second because I'm like, so where's my game? Because I know I downloaded it and I know I installed it, and it was behind the menu. But since then, that's the only game I've been playing, and so it's been open the whole time. Okay. So I haven't tried to close it to see what happens, but it's worked.
You got the disc, right? Did you get the digital?
I did.
Okay,
I got the disc.
That's what I was wondering was I literally put the disc in, let it install. When it said it was 100%, I'm good. I'm gonna go in and see if it installed both of them. If what it did, I'm hoping it just installed PS4, the PS5 version. I'd heard I don't know if they said that you can do this or they're asking if it is installing both, can you just go in and delete the PS4 version of it, or are there assets that they both use? I don't know offhand. So if I can delete the PS4 version anytime it shows up, then I'll do that on these games. Yeah.
I'll have to check my storage because I don't even know if it downloaded the PS4 version. So I'll see what exactly it did. Yeah. But I downloaded Call of both.
Duty is the one you said Call of Duty was. You did on Call of Duty on
Series.
Okay.
I did that on Series. Okay. And so that I bought the upgraded version, and again, it just downloaded the best version of the game automatically.
I also downloaded Sackboy.
Oh, cool.
And I'm going to double check. I want to play Sackboy with the wife, hopefully tomorrow. It's been one of those things that I'm like, hey, you want to play this? And she's like, oh, not right now. I'm going to play she either wants to play Assassin's Creed.
I mean, you gave her Valhalla, dude. You started.
So, which is funny because she was joking online where I was talking about unboxing the Xbox and someone was like, oh yeah you got it for the show, whatever. I'm like, I didn't get it for the show. I got it for me. Yes, I got to unbox it on here, but I also got it because the wife absolutely loves Assassin's Creed games and she's been playing on Xbox. And she was like, sure, yeah, you got it for me, but she's been playing that thing more than I've been playing PS5, if that tells you anything. It's good. I love them both. Don't get me wrong, I love them both. I feel like Xbox has like set the stage for like a year and a half, 2 years from now, where they're going to have these amazing games. The Medium is actually coming out, I think, January, and I know that's not your
Nope.
cup of tea at all. I put a video up of that earlier, so that's coming out. And I guess before we do wrap up today, I did want to hit. We did actually get a teaser for 007 from IO Interactive. This is the team who made Hitman, making a James Bond game, and I cannot be happier. I cannot be happier. I don't want them to try to redo GoldenEye. Like,
No.
I don't think it's going to be. But
No.
if this game, man, the team that's been doing Hitman, doing doing 007, doing James Bond, is I think it's a match made in heaven. It's like this is the perfect team to do it.
Yeah.
And I hope it has nothing to do with a specific Bond, or they have their own version of Bond, but maybe there's like, not that I want DLC, but maybe
They'll do skins.
Yeah, where skins like you want to play Sean Connery Bond? Do you want to play Daniel Craig Bond? Like, give me a little bit of that. Like, give me all the different Bonds. That'd be cool. I would like it if it was just kind of a not an amalgam, but kind of its own Bond, kind of like the PS4's Spider-Man. PS4 Spider-Man isn't Tom Holland. The new version's kind of a little bit closer. By the way, are you going to play the new remastered Spider-Man now? Or are you going to try it out?
It's not going to be the next thing I play. I do have it downloaded. It's ready to go. Again, what I did with both consoles is I downloaded a smattering of stuff. I wanted a couple RPGs. I wanted some action. I wanted some action games. I got the Call of Duty in there. I did Final Fantasy to have an RPG. And I'm picking 13 for just because I don't feel like I gave it a fair shake 10 years ago, so I want to see if I still dislike it. I did Ghost of Tsushima because I have not played it, and it got up-res to 60 frames, and by up-res I mean I think it's just that it doesn't have a frame rate cap, and so the console automatically pushes it to 60. You asked about Spider-Man though, so I'm going to play something else. Miles is awesome. I will play it at some point. I want to check out the Pathless. I want to check out Ghosts. Those are two games that I want to play. On the other side of things, Call of Duty is probably going to be the main thing that I'm playing on series for a little while. I do have Yakuza on there because I want to check that series out, because a lot of people are saying like a Dragon, and that it's a really great game. It's just the thing is like a Dragon costs money, and Yakuza 0 is available on Game Pass. So
that's why, we already spent this money on these new consoles, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I spent money. We also both got our CD keys, so we kind of set ourselves up for all this Game Pass action. I did think about getting Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Yeah.
I'm waiting. I'm enjoying so many games right now that I'm just tearing into all these Game Pass games.
And I'm counting on it being on Game Pass at some point.
4 months. Something like that. I mean, it's gonna
right when it hits PS5, because that's the thing, is it is available on PS4 right now, so you can play it through backwards compatibility on your PS5. So you're not completely left out. It's just you don't get to play the next gen version of the game on PS5 currently. That comes out next year. So right around next year, that's when I expect it to be on Game Pass, and that's probably when I'll check it out. I did want to say about that James Bond game though, it's going to be awesome. I already have just from the moment that it was Hitman, like they know how to build missions.
Yes, they do.
And that's what kind of fell off after GoldenEye. That's what made GoldenEye so good. Other than the fact that it was like one of the first like console multiplayers that you played, playing through the one player of GoldenEye was satisfying.
Yep. And people do not give that enough credit. People do not give GoldenEye's single player enough credit whatsoever. So I'm trying to fix your full screen going on here. People don't give that game near enough credit for its single player action. The story, the level design and story for the original GoldenEye was great. And yeah, I think Hitman, and I don't think that. Have you played the Hitman games? I know that, again, that's not like
not really
big on your thing. I've played the first.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, I played the first. Well, shoot, hold on. I played
Is
the
it on
first
Game Pass?
3. Yeah, double check because I'll download some of those. I played the first 4. Sorry, I played the first 4. I didn't play the episodic ones that I really should have dove into. But yeah, the gameplay, the level design, and being able to the multiple ways to skin a cat, the multiple ways to accomplish a goal in the game has always been really really interesting to me.
Yeah, and that's literally a thing from GoldenEye too, where like there was specific mission points that I remember. It's been a long time
Yeah,
since I played it, but I just remember like just being able to take like different paths sometimes. Again, they're just the perfect people to make this game. I hope that it's an original story. I hope it's not like just along with whatever the next movie is, because I think James Bond can be a really cool video game character. I know it's never going to be the same as the movie. It's like there's nothing that really copies that, but I think that there's an opportunity for that to be a really fun character in video games. So that was exciting news that came out today.
and I'll say one thing about James Bond as well. Like there's something to be said about a hero like the Lara Croft remakes, the Tomb Raider remakes, and Uncharted, where you get to see the character struggle. You to work through them on their struggles and whatever. But there's also something cool about seeing a character like James Bond who's just really good at everything and being able to do all of those things. That's kind of cool too. Like, you know, I love characters that struggle, but at the same time, a character who's just unapologetically good at everything, is great. You've watched The Good Place, right?
Yeah, most of it.
Okay, there were the guy who was writing a novel. I don't know if you got into that part.
I don't recall.
Okay,
so not most of it.
Okay, so anyway, it's the stereotypical like it's a novel about a guy who's just great at everything, and he's like it's a mystery novel that he solves the mystery like 10 pages in, and then there's like the rest of the novel. It's like, what do you do with the rest of the novel if he already solved the mystery? Like James Bond is that good though, so it's something cool about
you'd be
that.
Awesome doing it.
It's exactly. It's like I would be able to do ridiculous things like Fast and the Furious. Fast and the Furious is unapologetically ridiculous and over the top, and you just go along for the ride. Don't analyze James Bond movies. He's really good and he's getting it done. The old school James Bond movies, that is. I really like the Daniel Craig ones for different reasons. But anyways, you didn't come here to listen about James Bond. I'm loving next.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know. But I'm loving next gen. I'm loving this gen. It's no longer next gen. It's this gen. Man, I'm loving it. Good luck to everybody. We're still getting more. By the way, Walmart sold more today of PlayStation and Xbox, like immediately selling out. They're doing this in phases, so hopefully people get a chance. So that way bots don't buy them all out, and then there aren't any for Christmas. Hopefully there's more next week for Black Friday. Hopefully there's more towards the holiday season. But that's why they're doing this. They're phasing it. Instead of selling 4 million consoles in one day, they're trying to stretch it out and stop the bots and stop the scalpers in any way that they can. So anyone who doesn't have them, good luck. Hope you get them. And don't feel bad if you don't have them. You're going to get them soon, and you're going to be able to enjoy it just like us. Plus, you never know. These consoles may have some hardware issues. So,
no, whoa! We're not ending the show on bad juju.
Bye.
No, there's no bad juju. No, my consoles are going to be just fine. Thank you. Don't do no. I hope everybody does get a good console, and I hope that mine never ever breaks.
Did you get the protection plan, by the way? I never do this. I never do this. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it just for a little bit of safety. I did it. I did it on my Walmart one. I did it on the Xbox one that I don't have yet, but they don't know that. I'm making it work, but I'm like, just in case there's hardware failure, just in case there's overheating. But I will say, with heat sinks like these, I think we're going to be okay.
My PS5's been running cool.
Yeah. You mentioned, by the way, your Xbox was running warm today in standby. Was it downloading?
That's the thing, is I don't know, and so it could just be I just had like one of those paranoid moments where I was wondering, like,
Did you
I'm
like
sitting,
walk by it and you just touch
oh,
it?
I went into the living room with the sole purpose of touching it.
Oh,
I literally just wanted to
you
know.
look for trouble and you found trouble.
Yeah, and it was a little. I don't even know why I decided to get up and do it. I can't tell you what made me go like
That's you know what?
just touch my Xbox, but I go and I'm like,
Attitude.
why is this warm? And then I looked it up. The the heat is, or the way the console is designed is, it is supposed to like push the heat from the bottom to the top, and so my hand was like on the bottom of the console and it felt warm, so I'm assuming that it was like downloading something.
Okay.
But there was still that brief moment where I'm like, why is my console warm? Like, this isn't right.
Yeah, that's your dad. That's your dad.
I just had some kind of radar going off, like something's wrong with your Xbox.
Someone touched the thermostat. All of a sudden you're like, what's going on? That's what happens. That's what happens.
It's for me, it's when they turn off the fan. Like whenever the fan gets turned off, I'm like,
what happened?
what's wrong? What'd you do to my air circulation?
I gotta have the fan going, even if it's just a little bit. I like a little bit of fan moving out.
I have to have it's the breeze on your face, man.
When I drive, I'm that way too. Like I put the fans towards me, a little bit of AC. Whitney's like moving the fans away because she's cold. I like.
That's why it's awesome with the RAV4 with the split thermostat, so she can have a little bit warmer on her side. That Toyota knows what they're doing.
So good, except Whitney keeps changing all of mine. I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
no,
your thermostat stay on your side.
Put a post-it note on it. This is Whitney's thermostat. This is Patrick's thermostat.
I should like. I don't know if do you guys trade off driving? This is the section of the show where we talk about adults. You don't trade off driving. Do you drive?
Most of the time, 90% of the time.
Same here. I drive. Originally it wasn't a chivalry thing. It wasn't anything like that. Originally, it started as Whitney drove in, like she drove 2 hours from Stephenville, Texas to Plano, or Frisco to go back from college to see me or see her parents. So I was like, well, I will drive my car or whatever vehicle you're doing. Like, you've driven enough, I will drive. And now it's just become, I'll just drive.
It's a similar thing. It's because I work at home. So I've worked at home our entire relationship, and then she has had to drive to the office until this year, of course, with the pandemic. But up until then, it was like I drive she drives all week going to and from work. So like and I don't drive at all. So it just makes sense for me 100%. To be that person. Every once in a while, there's that feeling that I have where I'm like, can you just drive? Like, I really don't want to. And that's when she does decide to. Road trips. But we went from heat sinks to the Toyota RAV4 to who drives. This is the good stuff right here, guys.
This is why you subscribe, though. This is why you subscribe. Because things like that just happen. For some reason, someone just happens to be the designated driver. Whitney also naps. Like, I know, of course, you guys don't have that luxury right now with the kid, but Whitney will, like, if it's a longer drive, she'll be like, I'm going to rest my eyes. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'll put on something I want to listen to or whatever, like some NPR, like not NPR, but like maybe a podcast or something, and she'll snooze. But it's similar. Just be good to your partners is really what it boils down to, you know? Be good to them. They're good.
Be very good to them. Be nice. Say that Owen and Patrick said I have to be nice to you today and forever, but especially today. Be nice to them.
Exactly. And on that note, we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
That's a better way to end it.
Yeah, my console's gonna break out there, man. What are you doing?
I didn't mean to end on that. I was like, oh shit, like
you can't do that.
Right. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna break. Like the issues that people had have been so small that I'm like, I don't even want to. Like, people are saying like, oh, this is the next Red Ring of Death. I'm like, no, it's not. Like, I'm sorry you had to do that reformat because I had a power outage.
Yeah.
And it made me paranoid because I heard all these stories. It made me paranoid. I'm like, oh shit, that's gonna happen to me. No, you're good. Like